Hello everyone. This is going to be some Q&A practice for the 160 class, and we're going to start off with the plaintiff questioning. Okay, ready? What is your full name? David Carl Johnson. And what is your present home address? 1408 Broadway, Atlanta, Georgia. What is your telephone number there? 555-7477, area code 404. How long have you lived in Atlanta, Georgia? For the last year. Where did you live prior to that? Here in Macon. Did you ever have an occasion to meet a person by the name of Brian Smith? Yes. When did you first have occasion to meet Brian Smith? In 2006. Did you ever negotiate with Brian Smith to go into a business with him? Yes, I did. What type of business was that? The wholesale nursery business. When did that take place? That was in the 1st of December 2008. Can you tell me where that discussion took place and what the essence of that discussion was? Well, Brian had told me that he had found through an ad on the internet a greenhouse that he thought would be a good deal, and he would like to go into the business. We sat down and talked about it and figured out how we would do it. What else was discussed at that time, if anything? Well, I don't remember anything about the details that we discussed, but we did look at a nursery greenhouse. Where was that greenhouse? In Augusta. I don't know the exact street address, but it was on Savannah Road. Did you visit the greenhouse? Yes. What did you observe at that time? I observed what looked like a jungle that nobody could get through at the time. It was completely overgrown. Who was with you at that time? Brian. Did you speak with anybody at that time at the greenhouse? Well, not the first day we went to look at it, but the next day we did. Whom did you speak with then? A Mr. Nelson. Did you have any discussion with Mr. Nelson at that time? Yes, we talked to him. We wanted to find out more about the business and to get the records of the business, to find out more about the business and to get the records of the business to find out if they were making money. What did he say to you at that time, and what did he do? He looked at his records and said that he didn't have the complete accounting records for the business on hand and that at the time he couldn't help us. Did he do any searching at all? How much time did he take to look? We were in his office for a couple of hours while he was on his computer, and then we came back a couple of other times when he was still looking. But at that time, what did he state to you? At that time, he stated to us that he didn't have the records of all of the plants. He didn't even know what he had in inventory at that time. Was anything else said at this meeting where you and Mr. Smith were present with Mr. Nelson about the business? Yes, Mr. Nelson indicated to us that he was willing to sell the business to us real cheap, as he put it. What do you think he meant by that? He said he had a lot of bills to pay that his wife had left him, and he just wanted to get out from under the business. Did he actually give you a selling price? No, he said he would take $25,000 down and we could pay the rest later. Okay, so switching transcripts. Go back to the sexual harassment case with the city of San Diego. And this is going to be a defense attorney questioning. Ready? Just everybody? Yes. All right. I think you said you were at the Bay for... Maybe I didn't ask you how long you were assigned to the Bay. When I first came there, I worked at Ocean Park Club for a year, and then the Bay. I think the last 6.5 years I've been working at that building. So the Bay 6 to 6.5 years, and then Ocean Park Club for about 1 year. Yeah. And before that, where did you work? At the Qualcomm Stadium. How long did you work at the stadium? Oh, about 2.5 years. What was your position there? Custodian 1. When did you first start working for the city of San Diego? I think it was June of 2006. I think that's when it was. All right, that works out about right. Before you worked for the city, where did you work? I worked at AT&T. I'm sorry. How long did you work for them? I think about 2 years. What was your job there? Groundsman's construction. What is that? It is construction, like laying fiber cables, trenching, and construction. Which AT&T facility were you at? Costa Mesa. And before AT&T, where did you work? Before AT&T was UCSD. How long did you work at UCSD? About 6 months. What did you do there? Clerical, filing, typing, computer. Before UCSD, where did you work? I worked at the unemployment office. I worked at Research Lab off of Sorrento Valley Road. Say that again. Research Lab for the military? Cutting film for the military. But you weren't in the military. No. Where else did you work? UCSD, clerical, AT&T, unemployment office, Research Lab, and the city, and Benson. What is Benson? It's an elementary school. What did you do there? Just paperwork. Clerical? Yes. Office stuff? Yes. How long did you work for the unemployment office? About a year. What did you do there? Clerical. How long did you work at Research Lab? About 6 months. How long did you work at Benson Elementary School? I don't remember that. It's been a long time ago. Okay, before you worked for the city, did you ever file a workers' compensation claim? No. Or have any type of disability? No. Oh, yes. Yes, I did. No, not before. Not while you were working for the city? Before you were working for the city? So prior to 06. Not prior. So you're right. Let's go to your job at the Bay and Nick Carter, okay? Okay. How often did you see Nick Carter? It sounds like you kind of did the same thing. To the extent it's a little vague as to time, but are you asking for the entire time? Years you worked with Mr. Carter, or... Let's start out at the beginning of the 5 years. How often did you see him? Every day that I worked. When did you see him? When I come into work to sign in, he's there in the office. Do you know what his title is? Building supervisor. And how long did it take you to sign in? About a minute, not over a minute. What did you do after you signed in? Left. Then you went off to do your custodian job? Uh-huh. On the average, would you see Nick Carter again during the day or during your shift? If it's working in the day, yeah. How often would you see him on average? Friday or Saturday, I would see him. He would come up there like 2 or 3 times. What would he do when he came up there? He would walk around, come in the office, sit there, grab himself fumble with himself, sit, scoot his chair back, and fumble with himself. All the time? All the time. With other people there? He did it before when Ian was in there. How many times when Ian was in there? He did it when Ian was in the office once. I remember because there's one desk and there's another desk area. I was sitting at the other desk and Ian was sitting on the table, and Nick came around and sat in that chair and scooted back and fumbled with himself, and I just got up and walked out. Okay, you mean... I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just a little vague as to time, as to when this was. Was this the beginning of the 5 years? Towards the end of the 5 years you worked with him? He fumbled with himself all the time. When I first started to, when I left, he always played with himself in front of me. Okay, so for the entire period of 5 years that you worked with Nick Carter, he would play with himself in front of you? Every chance he would get, yes. Continue, counsel. Okay, so that concludes our Q&A practice for the 160 class. Have a great day.